Kumo Sora awakens from a nightmare, only to find his older brother Tenka missing. He wakes his younger brother Chutaro, and the two of them set out to find Tenka. In a forest, they come across two officers chasing a criminal who refuses to surrender. Tenka suddenly appears and knocks the criminal down, allowing the officers to arrest him. Sora and Chutaro arrive shortly after and express their frustration with Tenka for leaving without them. However, Tenka reminds them that they were sound asleep hugging their pillows. The criminal takes note of the Kumo shrine mark on their kimonos and realizes Tenka is the 14th head of the Kumo family. It is revealed that Japan started to westernize their culture and develop new technology at the end of the Edo period. These changes, such as the prohibition on swords and samurai, divided the local public. Some individuals rebelled against the government and turned to a life of crime, with government struggling to handle the increase in criminal activity. In the present, Sora and Chutaro are escorting a prisoner to Gokumanjo, the largest prison in Japan. The criminal mentions that the Kumo shrine is the talk of town, and that it's rumored the shrine depends on Tenka alone while his younger brothers hide behind him. Sora expresses his disapproval of the harsh methods the government employs to deal with escaped prisoners, particularly the building of a prison in the middle of Lake Biwa. Chutaro dismisses Sora's opinion and reminds him that they are paid by the government to escort prisoners. At the Kumo shrine, Sora trains rigorously while the officers apologize to Shirasu for their failure to capture the prisoner. Shirasu then speaks with Tenka and asks him to put a stop to Sora's training. Tenka tells Shirasu that Chutaro might be in love, and their conversation is interrupted by Sora. He asks Tenka to train with him to pass the time, and Tenka easily defeats him. They then disguise themselves and visit Chutaro's school to see his lover. Despite Sora's warning, Tenka brushes it off, and they are recognized by everyone in the town. The locals express their sympathy for the brothers, as their parents died due to tuberculosis. They eventually reach the school and see Chutaro having fun with other children and his teacher, Boten. After touring the school and getting a progress report, the three brothers return to the shrine. While training with Sora at the shrine, two officers come by and ask for Tenka's help in finding an escaped prisoner who has stolen one of their swords. Although both brothers are eager to help, Tenka tells them to stay put. On the way, the officers discuss a legend passed down by their ancestors, which states that Shiga will be swallowed by heavy clouds once every 300 years, signaling a great calamity. Back at the shrine, Sora is frustrated with Tenka for not acknowledging his skills and wants to help him. However, Shirasu warns them not to go, but Sora ignores his warning. In a forest, Sora and Chutaro encounter a samurai who realizes that Sora is from the Kumo shrine and attacks him. Despite his attacks, Sora manages to defeat the samurai. Sora, having sparred with Tenka for so long, had failed to notice that he had actually grown stronger. But his realization was cut short when a cunning samurai disarmed him of his katana. The samurai scoffed, saying that only Tenka was truly powerful. However, Sora's younger brother Chutaro deftly reclaimed the stolen weapon with his superior speed. Undeterred, Sora drew his second blade and decisively ended the conflict. Despite his victory, he wondered if Tenka would finally acknowledge him, but both he and Chutaro were crestfallen to see that Tenka had already triumphed over countless opponents. As Sora and Chutaro watched Tenka's mastery, the samurai crept up behind Sora and began to choke him. Just in the nick of time, Tenka arrived and saved his brother. Tenka carried Sora back to the shrine, where he wept in shame at his weakness. But Tenka comforted them both, telling them to cry and grow stronger. After returning to the shrine, Shirasu asks Tenka about Sora's condition, who is recovering from the incident. Tenka informs Shirasu that Sora is slowly regaining his memories and takes them both to a clinic for a checkup. The doctor, however, triggers Sora's traumatic memories when he touches his neck, causing him to scream and tremble uncontrollably. As a result, Sora abruptly leaves the clinic. Later, Tenka confesses to the doctor that Shirasu is a survivor of the Fuma clan, a notorious group of murderers. The doctor reveals that he had already suspected Shirasu's true identity due to his white hair and purple eyes, which are distinct features of the Fuma clan. He explains that there were three ninja clans: the Koga clan, who swore loyalty to their masters, the Ida clan, who sided with money, and the Fuma clan, who were known for their merciless killings. While they're talking, two officers barge in and inform Tenka that Kagami no Oto, a notorious killer who targets supporters of the government, is heading towards the shrine. Tenka rushes out to protect his brothers, but is stopped by an army of officers. Takeda, the commanding officer, challenges Tenka to a duel, but Tenka refuses and runs past them. Meanwhile, Kagami meets with Chutaro and asks about the three Cloud brothers' relationship. Chutaro reveals that they are very close and that Tenka is the strongest of them. Kagami shares a story about his lost brothers, which makes Chutaro pity him. Chutaro plans to escort Kagami to Gokumanjo, but they're stopped by Sora. Sora orders Chutaro to bring Shirasu to the scene and warns Kagami that he smells of blood. Sora reveals that he's the oldest brother and will kill Kagami. However, Tenka arrives just in time to save them. Tenka reveals himself as the older brother and questions Kagami's motive for coming to Shiga. Kagami reveals that he wields a strange sword named Dodamiki and intends to kill Tenka and the Emperor, who betrayed all the samurais by banning all swords. Without breaking a sweat, Tenka defeats Kagami, but the commander of Yama-Inu, Abe no Sosei, arrives at the scene and apprehends Kagami. Abe gives Tenka the cold shoulder and declares that he does not act friendly with traitors. At the shrine, a Botan comes to Tenka and reveals that she is also looking for the vessel of Orochi, a mythical artifact that is believed to have immense power. Tenka confesses that he has only one goal: to find the vessel of Orochi and protect it. Meanwhile, the commander of Yama-Inu reveals his plan to destroy the vessel of Orochi. Botan informs Tenka that they should be focusing on hunting down Orochi, despite the vessel's innocence and unwillingness to spill the blood of innocents. Sora eavesdrops on their conversation and demands to know more about Orochi's origins, but Tenka avoids the question. Sora, frustrated with Tenka's lack of transparency, decides to train relentlessly to become stronger, questioning his progress and improvement along the way. Meanwhile, Tenka is invited to lead the Kumo family and meets with Kiko, who reveals that the government plans to establish a canal through Lake Biwa. The Minister of Rights interrupts their conversation and asks Tenka to join his former squad, but Tenka declines, stating that he is no longer a dog of Yama-Inu. Meanwhile, the commander of Yama-Inu plans to investigate a rumor about Gokumanjo, and Sora begs him to train him, but he is promptly rejected. Sora overhears that someone is collecting something in Gokumanjo and decides to infiltrate the prison on his own to train with the commander. At the clinic, Tenka learns that his symptoms are worsening but ignores it, only becoming worried when he learns that Sora has not returned home. He sets out with Shutaro to look for him. Shirasu senses Botan's presence near the shrine and suspects that she is not human due to her lack of scent. Botan reveals that she is working with Tenka and cannot trust the Fuma clan, who kill without thought. Shirasu tells her that the Fuma clan is a relic of the past and promises to suspect others on behalf of the Cloud Brothers. In the prison, Sora receives newcomer orientation and encounters a criminal defeated by his brother in the past. The criminal tells him to offer something to the master, and Sora is thrown into the Chamber of Punishment after overhearing Kagami's conversation with the mysterious entity. Sora encounters a masked man who offers to help him and remembers that the man killed his parents. At the shrine, Tenka begs Shirasu for his help in finding Sora, who infiltrated Gokumanjo alone. Shutaro informs Tenka of Sora's growing strength, and Tenka admits that he is the one who will be left behind. In the Chamber of Punishment, Sora is choked by the man and starts panicking and screaming, but the man tells him to calm down. As he struggles to breathe, Sora suddenly remembers how his family was killed by this man and how Tenka saved him. When he leaves the chamber, an officer gives him a medical kit and tells him there's no infirmary in the prison, so he has to help himself. Outside the prison, Shirasu finds Takeda standing by the lake and questions his motive, but Takeda redirects the conversation by saying he's on guard duty. Back in the prison, the warden asks Sora what he saw in the chamber and reveals that low-rank wardens are not allowed near that room. Sora tells her about the man with pure white hair, purple eyes, and a fox mask, and the warden figures out he belongs to the Fuma clan. She reveals that the man killed her entire clan and she wants revenge against him. Sora reveals that the man killed his parents, but he ignores her request for help. The warden discovers Sora's true identity and pledges to keep it a secret. Suddenly, explosions occur around Gokumanjo and the prisoners try to escape. Takeda stops them and orders the officers to guard the exits. Meanwhile, Shirasu sneaks in and finds Sora. Sora visits the Chamber of Punishment and punches the man responsible for his parents' death, but he tells him that revenge is not what he wants. Shirasu reveals that Tenka had told him not to reveal anything because he was worried about Sora and Shutaro. Sora realizes that Tenka has been raising them with a smile despite his burdens. He visits the warden and tells her she can start over and should smile more. On their way back, Sora reveals to Takeda that his brother is selfish and silly, but he's still their brother and father to them both. When they return to the shrine, Tenka gets mad at Sora for asking the commander to train him. Botan notices Shirasu's compassion towards the Cloud Brothers and confronts him, revealing that she always thought the members of Fuma clan were heartless monsters. Shirasu tells her that the Fuma clan was wiped out by a single child with a fox mask and he was injured in heavy snow when Tenka found him. He adds that he's no longer a Fuma ninja, but a ninja of Kumo. After an exhaustive search, Nishiki, a survivor of the Fuma clan, finally finds Shirasu and addresses him as the chief. She informs him that she has located the boy who killed the Fuma clan. Shirasu informs her that he is a Kumo ninja and advises her to forget about the clan and live a peaceful life as she wishes. The following day, Sora visits Kyoto to meet Sosei, the commander of Yama-Inu. Initially, Sosei instructs Kiko to kick Sora out, but Sora reveals that he infiltrated Gokumanjo and overheard a conversation in the Chamber of Punishment about what they are collecting in the prison. Sora offers to reveal the information in exchange for training from Sosei. He explains that criminals were bringing poppies into the prison and provides his wig as evidence. Sosei agrees to train him and asks him to return the following day. However, some members of Yama-Inu object to Sora's training, but Sosei explains that Sora will be a disposable pawn in the future and may help in locating the vessel of Orochi. Kiko confronts Sosei and reminds him of his promise never to work with Kumo. She reveals his intentions to take revenge against Tenka, who was his friend. Later that evening during dinner, Tenka advises Sora to travel through the land of the rising sun and witness how the country is changing. He explains that this season of Japan will not come again and that Japan is growing into adulthood. He tells Sora and Shutaro that they will experience a similar season someday. The next day, Sora visits Yama-Inu headquarters, where Sosei confirms the accuracy of the information he provided and agrees to train him. Kiko is surprised to see Sosei training Tenka's younger brother. Sora hesitantly asks about the relationship between Tenka and Sosei, but he refuses to answer. Kiko reveals that Tenka was the previous commander of Yama-Inu. Sosei recalls how Tenka used to say he was going to become a hero and save the country when they were children. In the present, Kiko informs Sora that the objective of Yama-Inu is to find and destroy the Orochi, a giant snake that revives every 300 years and causes great calamity in the world. Sora then questions Sosei about the vessel of Orochi, and he explains that the Orochi chooses a human as its host and ultimately takes over the body, then is reborn completely. Upon returning to the shrine, Sora finds Tenka extremely ill. Shirasu brings a doctor to treat him, and Tenka reveals something crucial to Shirasu and Boten. While Sora is shopping for dinner, he notices how much the locals adore Tenka. On his way back, he encounters Nishiki, whom he had met in Gokumanjo. Sora invites her to dinner, but she refuses and leaves. Upon returning to the shrine, Sora finds Shutaro in tears and learns that Tenka is the vessel of the Orochi and has been taken by the police. Shirasu recalls that Tenka had informed him that he would die soon because the medicine the doctor gave him had stopped working. Tenka asks Shirasu to act as Kumo's ninja as his last request. Meanwhile, Yama-Inu also discovers the truth about Tenka. Shirasu is informing Sora and Shutaro that Tenka has been revealed as the vessel of Orochi and a public execution is scheduled to take place at Gokumanjo to kill him. Kiko wants to help her childhood friend, but the other members refuse her plea for help. Boten shares with them that 600 years ago, Kumo Kagemitsu, the first ancestor of the Kumo family, suppressed Orochi, but the wounded monster cursed the Kumo family for generations to come. The Orochi's spirit is revived every 300 years, seeking a vessel to destroy the world. Boten warns that Orochi must be sealed or else humanity will be doomed to their downfall. She recounts the battle she fought with Orochi, sacrificing her friends and family to seal it through a spell. In the present, despite Shirasu's warning, Sora urges Shutaro to accompany him, and the boys set out. As they run through the forest, they reminisce about their lively memories with Tenka. At the execution site, many people rebel against the decision to execute Tenka, but they are helpless in front of the forces. Sosei confronts Tenka, asking him why he left Yama-Inu, his dream. Tenka reveals that finding the vessel of Orochi and saving the country from the shadows is his dream. He was excited when the team was chosen for the special mission, but in the end he prioritized being a big brother rather than saving the country. Sosei points out that Tenka always makes decisions on his own and walks in front of everyone else. He tells him that even the sun is loved, but it does not matter if anyone cannot reach it. He warns Tenka that he will die alone. However, Sora and Shutaro arrive and cause a commotion, breaking through the forces one by one. Tenka urges them to stop and hugs them tightly, thanking them for being his brothers. All of Shiga objects to Tenka's execution, but in the end, Tenka laughs and is hanged to death. Hirari, a member of the police militia of Shiga, was born with only one arm. It's rumored that he has been dreaming of a woman every night. However, it is revealed that 600 years ago, a man named Abe no Hirari saved Boten, who turns out to be Shikigami summoned by the Abeno clan 600 years ago, with the mission of sealing Orochi. He escorted her safely to the Kumo shrine, where she was welcomed by Kumo Kagemitsu. When Hirari asked Kagemitsu for permission to marry Boten, Kagemitsu declined, saying that he couldn't let Boten marry a stranger. Hirari then revealed his great inheritance in his family's sword, explaining that he was a black sheep among the Abe family, with a mission to eliminate Orochi. Upon hearing Hirari's mission, he was accepted at the shrine and Sasaki invited him to stay over. Hirari asked Kagemitsu about the men who had attacked Boten, learning that they worship Orochi and seek to revive it. Boten overheard their conversation. When Kagemitsu asked Hirare why he had fallen in love with her, he explained that she had honest eyes filled with pride and faith. Later, the shrine was surrounded by the worshippers of Orochi, and Hirare discovered that a mage among them had switched sides. Boten saved Hirare by using her own magic, revealing that she was a familiar member of the Abe family in service to his father. Hirare refused to give up on his pursuit of her. Boten tied Hirare with a magic rope and left him, but Sasaki told him that Boten was a special familiar who could seal Orochi, and the Kumo family protected her. Despite this, Hirare refused to give up. Boten released Hirare thinking he had learned his lesson, but he hugged her the instant he was free. Sasaki asked Kagemitsu to leave them be, explaining that a relationship between a familiar and a human was not possible, since she would disappear once Orochi was sealed. Hirare took Boten to the lake and told her that he would die alongside her. Kagemitsu suspected that Hirare was the vessel for Orochi, but it turns out Sasaki was the vessel instead, prompting Sasaki to transform into Orochi and battle began. Boten laid a barrier around the area. Kagemitsu acted as a shield for her, and Hirare acted as bait as he was raised to do. Boten asked him about his smile, and he told her that it was because of her. During the battle, Orochi realized that Boten was trying to seal him and attacked her. Hirare shielded her and told her not to falter. Hirare attacked Orochi head-on and Boten sealed it. As he died, he promised to meet with her in the next life. In the present, Sora wakes up each morning to wash rice, but Shirasu urges him to snap out of his daze. Sora can't shake the feeling that something is wrong. He goes in search of Chutaro and finds him sitting at the gate of the shrine, waiting for his brother Tenka to return. Sora tries to console Chutaro, but the boy can't be comforted. He feels that Sora could never replace his beloved brother. Meanwhile, at the Yama-Inu headquarters, the Minister of Rights decides to disband the squad. He originally wanted to capture the Orochi alive, but now he orders Sosei to keep an eye on Sora and Chutaro, as they come from the same bloodline as the legendary beast. He believes that they could be useful for further experimentation. Sora trains with Sosei, but he can't focus. Sosei is frustrated with Sora's lack of attention and tells him to leave if he can't take his training seriously. Sora is left with doubts about his own abilities and questions his strength compared to Tenka's. Even though Tenka carries the darkness of their parents' murder with a smile, Sora feels that he can't live up to his brother's legacy. Chutaro overhears this and asks Sora about their parents, but Sora remains silent. Meanwhile, Sosei remembers the day he first met Tenka. Kumo Taiko had introduced them and trained them both to perfection in hopes that they would meet their family's expectations. He tells Sosei that if Tenka is the head of the Yama-Inu, then Sosei is the squad's right arm. Back at the shrine, Sora finds Nishiki injured in the rain. He brings her to the shrine and calls the doctor. Shirasu informs him that Nishiki is a surviving member, just like himself. Sora visits Nishiki to ask about her injuries, and she reveals that she had been attacked in the woods. Two officers come by and inform Sora the criminal has escaped and he is the only one who can help. Nishiki offers to go with him, but Sora tells her to rest. She reveals to him that the Fuma were not born with white hair and purple eyes, but that they learned the art of killing in war from a young age. To become a true shinobi, they had to kill the person closest to them, and were then locked in a box filled with darkness until their hair and eyes changed color. Nishiki couldn't endure it and ran away. Sora assures Nishiki that he understands what she has gone through and offers her a place at the shrine. He tells her she can do whatever she wants and no orders will be given to her. After defeating the criminal, Sora visits Sosei and asks to be trained. Sora finally takes on the responsibility of becoming the 15th head of the Kumo family and promises to carry out Tenka's will. Kagami manages to escape from Gokumanjo and eventually finds Chutaro in the forest. He reveals to Chutaro that the country has murdered his brother because he is possessed by Orochi, an evil spirit. The country has sacrificed his brother in order to save themselves, leaving Chutaro devastated. Meanwhile, at the Yama-Inu headquarters, Sosei receives a report from one of the members that the sky in Shiga is still not clear even after the execution of Tenka. Sosei begins to suspect that Tenka may not have been the vessel of Orochi, and that the Shiga police are hiding crucial information. Back in the forest, Kagami is brewing hatred in Chutaro and planning revenge. Meanwhile, at the shrine, Sora and Shirasu are waiting for Chutaro to return, but they are interrupted by two officers who inform them that Kagami has escaped from Gokumanjo with Chutaro. Shirasu promises Sora that he will bring back Chutaro, and that Sora should stay and look after the shrine. At the Yama-Inu headquarters, the Ashiya mage informs Sosei that the death of Kumo Tenka is meaningless and orders him not to speak of it outside of the Yama-Inu. Sosei then reveals that Sora has informed him about Kagami's escape, but the wardens have refused to talk. The mage explains that the only one who can seal Orochi is a familiar of the Abe family and promises to find her no matter the cost, as she is the only one with sufficient knowledge about Orochi. The Yama-Inu squad begins to investigate the Shiga police, and Takamine finds Hirari talking with someone. The man warns Hirari that if anyone finds out that Kumo Tenka is an artificial vessel, there will be an uproar in the city. He attempts to deliver this information to the captain, but is stopped by a mysterious entity. Sosei then visits the shrine and surprises Sora with a visit while Boten goes to meet Ashiya Mutsuki. Over breakfast, Sosei explains that there were many vessels of Orochi in the past, and that some are aware of their status as vessels while others are oblivious. He reveals that Orochi resides in negative emotions, causing memory loss and loss of self-control before eventually taking over the host's body. Tenka was killed before this could happen. However, their conversation is interrupted when Takeda bursts into the room and announces that Takamine has been found injured near the shrine and might not wake up again. He then grabs Sora and releases all his anger at him, claiming that he is unable to protect anything. Meanwhile, Boten informs Mutsuki that the sealing spell has been swallowed by Orochi 300 years ago and has been unusable ever since. She also mentions that the Kumo family swords were also swallowed by the spell and asks Mutsuki to confirm it. Just then, Shirasu interrupts their conversation and requests Boten's help in finding Chutaro. Back at the shrine, Sora discovers his gi stained with blood and finds a scar on his hand that is identical to his brother's. He begins to suspect that he is the vessel of Orochi, but is unable to recall his memories. Boten is currently immobilized by Shirasu, who warns her not to interfere with Orochi's resurrection. At the same time, all the prisoners in Gokumanjo are addicted to drugs, and the remaining wardens have joined forces with the man in the Chamber of Punishment. Shirasu reveals to Boten that the Fuma clan has been the retainers of Orochi for generations and their rule is absolute. In the prison, a member of the Fuma clan is planning to escape with all the prisoners. Boten questions Shirasu about why he's been protecting the Kumo family, and he reveals that Tenko wasn't the vessel of Orochi. It was Sora all along, and he's been protecting him. Shirasu attempts to kill Boten, but Hirari jumps in and saves her. Hirari tells Shirasu that attacking a lady is no way to treat someone, and Boten tells him to run away, but he refuses. He carries her on his back and runs, and she uses her magic to take down the ninjas following them. Boten realizes that Hirari is led by memories from his previous life and will keep finding him until Orochi exists. Meanwhile, Sora rushes to the Yama-Inu headquarters and tells Sosei that he's the vessel of Orochi and has been losing his memories. He reveals that he was the one who attacked Takamine and requests Sosei to kill him. Sosei tells him that crying doesn't mean he's weak and to remember his brother and weep. Takeda barges in and tells the commander that the Fuma have surrounded them. He orders Takeda protect Sora with his life and heads out. The battle begins and Sosei permits his men to kill the Fuma. Furthermore, Shirasu reveals to his younger twin brother that the Kumo swords are capable of separating Lord Orochi from the vessel, and they were found in Gokumanjo. He explains that 10 years ago, they killed all the members of Fuma who opposed Lord Orochi's resurrection and went underground to infiltrate the Kumo family. Shirasu's younger brother reveals that Shirasu was the one who killed their parents, and as he's about to attack Sora, Shirasu intervenes and tells him to stop. Shirasu calls upon Lord Orochi and reveals that Tenka's death was convenient for them. Takeda wakes up and tells Sosei that Sora has been taken. In the meantime, Boten learns the truth about the situation from Mutsuki, and Sosei plans to infiltrate Gokumanjo to rescue Sora. Chutaro is with Kagami, and he tells him to kill the villagers to prove his resolve. However, before that can happen, 3 escaped prisoners start attacking them. As they're about to be killed, a mysterious man arrives and saves them. Hirari takes Boten and the doctor to see Tenka, who miraculously survived despite his execution orders. The doctor reveals that he discovered Tenka injured while researching Orochi's cell, and they implanted the cell inside him to keep him alive. However, Orochi's poison turned him into a vessel. Tenka learns that Chutaro is missing and Sora is Orochi's vessel, prompting him to break his chains and leave. Hirari recalls a man similar to Tenka but can't remember who he is. At headquarters, Takamine wakes up and Sosei orders the Yama-Inu squad to retrieve the Kumo family sword, which can separate Orochi from the vessel. Sosei explains to Kiko that the minister underwent major surgery to implant Orochi's cells inside his body to improve healing ability and prevent death. Meanwhile, Orochi takes over Sora's body and destroys the entire prison, and the Fuma clan vows to stop anyone who interferes with Orochi's resurrection. The head warden of Gokumanjo and some prisoners attack the Yama-Inu squad, but they overpower them. Hirari and Boten meet Sosei and reveal that Orochi is always born under the clouds and sunlight might be his weakness. They plan to capture Orochi alive and use the tunnels under Gokumanjo that connect beyond Kyoto. In Gokumanjo, Nishiki finds the chief, requests to be a Fuma, and discovers the Kumo swords that were swallowed by Orochi 300 years ago. She realizes that they can separate Orochi from his vessel and attacks Orochi to save Sora. However, she fails and escapes with the sword, recalling that Boten entrusted her with this crucial task. Meanwhile, Shutaro decides he doesn't want revenge and urges Kagami to abandon it. The Yamaiyu squad saves Chutaro and Nishiki hands Boten the swords, who then gives them to Chutaro and instructs him to lure Orochi out of Kyoto. As the Fuma attack the Yamainu, Orochi uses his powers and attacks Chutaro, but Tenka arrives and saves him in the nick of time. Kiko instructs Sosei to engage in combat with Orochi, while the rest of the squad deals with the Fuma clan. Sosei brings Hirare with him, and Tenka reassures Chutaro that he is not dreaming. He explains that he needs to attack Orochi with the blades to bring back Sora. Tenka blocks Orochi's escape route, and the three of them begin their battle, destroying the tunnels. Orochi manages to flee the tunnels, but Sosei is waiting for him. Tenka immobilizes Orochi, and Shutaro strikes him down with the swords, releasing Orochi's control over him. Boten reveals that Orochi is poison to itself and that only the vessel can kill it once and for all. Sora wakes up and punches Tenka for being foolish. Tenka embraces his brothers and warns that if Orochi is not killed, he will return. He tells Sora that he is the only one who can defeat Orochi, and Sosei gives him his family blade, while Tenka hands him his kimono. He tells Chutaro that Sora will need his assistance. After they depart, Sosei confronts Tenka for keeping him in the dark, but Tenka explains that it wouldn't have made a difference. He asks about Sosei's approach, and Sosei admits he would have let his friends carry the burden for him. Kagami blocks their path, but Chutaro tells everyone to move forward. He fights Kagami and pleads with him for a second chance. Meanwhile, the rest of the team reach Orochi. Boten plans to sacrifice herself again, but Hirari saves her in time. He tells her that he has regained his memories and assures her that the Kumo boys will handle everything. The battle begins with Orochi attacking Sora and the others, while Tenka, Sosei, and the squad fight with the Fuma clan. Sora draws his blade and with the help of Chutaro and Takeda, kills Orochi. After everything settles, Tenka demands an explanation from Shirasu, who reveals that they both heeded the calls of their families and jumped off the cliff. Tenka celebrates their victory with the villagers and the Yama-Inu squad, while they all laugh under the sun. The end. Be sure to watch our other videos and subscribe for more recaps.